So when you hear about Apocalypse Now, Saving Private Ryan, Platoon, Enemy at the Gates, what do you think about them? दिमाग में क्या चल रहा होता है? All these films tell us that war is not a glamorous event. There's blood, there's loss, there's grief, there's emotion, and there's darkness everywhere. Nothing else. In a lot of classic war movies, you might have come across one common theme, and that would be people sitting in AC rooms, especially the bureaucracy, are the ones deciding the fate of the soldiers who are actually on the ground, on the front, and fighting the war. They are the ones who face the brunt of the war. They are the ones whose neck are slit, who are at the helm of a sniper's rifle, who are at the helm of someone's machine gun, who are at the helm of a grenade, tanks, and lots of other things. All of these make a war movie a spectacle and an experience that you can never forget and that makes an impact in your mind. Hey guys, this is Sid, and today we will be talking about a very special movie on Netflix which is called All Quiet on the Western Front, directed by Edward Berger. So the movie is based on the First World War, and it is the war going on between the Allied and the Axis powers. So Germany is on the verge of losing this war, and they are trying their best to send as much troops as possible. So Germany is on the verge of losing a war, and they are sending as many soldiers on the front to ensure that they can push them as far as they can to make some mark on the Western Front. So the Western Front is in the French territory, which includes Champagne and North Germany as well. So they march from North Germany towards the French territory and they try to face the French army or the Allied powers who are seated or who are positioned at the Western Front. They have been unable to move ahead on the Western they have been unable to move at the Western Front even an inch. Even if they try to move ahead, most of the soldiers are killed because Germany was not that advanced at that point of time and they were not as strategic and planned as they became in the next war, which is the Second World War. Now, the basic context is this: one's on the verge of losing the war, and the other is extremely dominant. The one on the verge of losing the war is trying to make a mark and trying their best to make the last minute impression and trying and conquer the Western Front, which has been out of their hands. On the other hand, the Allied powers or the French troops or the French army have been successfully, wading away all the German soldiers and their attempts to even think about capturing the Western Front, which includes Champagne and other territories in the French boundary, in the French, territory. Germany recruits teenagers and a whole bunch of them for the war. But there are other secrets that they do not know as to why they are sent and what they are getting into. So the teenagers are never told about what is the situation on the front because as teenagers we all know that we have a hormonal excitement that we are getting into something really interesting and we are about to contribute to the country's welfare or the country's tryst to acquire a new region in an enemy state. And that itself is something which is really intriguing. And so, with that feeling, with that thought, the teenagers from Germany are recruited to join the First World War, or if I could rather say, the last leg of the First World War, which would be around 1917 and 1918. This movie could very well be one of the masterpieces that could be included with movies that I already mentioned in the beginning. The entire movie seems to be painted with a lot of dedication, love, and romance. It's just not the actors who tell you the story about the Western Front from the perspective of Germany and France, but with the perspective of the entire the landscape that is involved in this entire event of war. So this movie is special because of a lot of reasons. Let's talk about that. First and foremost would be cinematography. James Friend, who has been involved in a lot of important and interesting projects earlier, has put the portrait and the landscape of France and Germany in such dedication that you will fall in love with the cinematography. The visuals are stunning and they will feel like right out of a photography competition. Each and every frame, each and every shot that has been captured will stay with you for a very, very long time. Each and every shade that has been used, each and every color, and each and every light used in this film will accentuate the attitude, the mood, the overall emotion of the film, the overall emotion of loss, grief, anger, betrayal, and whatever you can add in terms of a war. In terms of performances, all the actors seemed to be, a part of a bigger canvas. But they have also tried to explain the fact that war is a messy business. As teenagers who have no idea what they got into and what lies ahead, if by chance and with your good luck, if you survive a lot of battles in the war, you become stone hearted. You might not be able to grasp what comes your way. If someone has a heart still alive inside them, they might try to show that to their enemies as well. They might not be able to view death as others view them. So there is a legacy that is left behind which tries to tell us that humanity should not be dead, even if it's a war. So overall, when you watch the movie, you would need a lot of patience because German movies have a special kind of audience and they need from you complete attention and complete submission towards their stories. All Quiet in the Western Front tells you that this is a different kind of a war movie, and if if you are invested, if you are completely invested in this movie, you have not wasted your time. And that's what I felt when I was watching this particular movie, because it told me that when it is about war and when it is about a teenager or a bunch of teenagers who outside the war have a pretty good life, have their own emotions and their own ambitions in life, suddenly if they are put forth in a situation like this where there are guns all around, there are blasts all around, there are dynamites all around, grenades, people are flying like firecrackers, someone is slitting their throats in front of you, someone is running a tank over some guy, someone is trying to gag another person or the enemy, someone is trying to join their amputated limb, someone is crying out of absolute pain when their hand is amputated, when their leg is amputated, when their guts are out, in front of them. Situations like these are absolutely unwanted and uncalled for. What happens when such a situation lies in front of you right from day one when you join the war? And what happens when a teenager faces those kind of situations? The film tries to explore this emotion, and it does with such finesse that you will be very happy that you watch this movie, and then you will not be able to move after you finish this movie. If you ask me to rate this movie out of 5, I will give it 5 out of 5, because such war movies are not made very often, and this is clearly one of the masterpieces that would go in history with one of these classics that I mentioned. For each and every war movie enthusiast, this is a must watch, because this movie is not about entertainment. This movie is about being patient, being allowed to be invested in the stories of teenagers who decide to join a war which is being decided by people who sit in their luxurious rooms but who never ever think about coming on field and witnessing the bloodbath and being a part of it. So that was all from my side about All Quiet on the Western Front. Do watch this movie, it's on Netflix. Alright guys, this was the video. Please comment down below about how you felt after watching this movie. What do you think about my perspective about this movie? Please give a like, comment down below, and please do not forget to subscribe my channel.